day camp will go through, what did we say?
August the 3rd.
August the 3rd, excuse me, August the 3rd. It is every Tuesday from 10 to 3.
So it's not every day of the week?
No, it's
Okay.
not. Just on Tuesday. And we just want to let everyone know that we will not be having day camp this next week because of Vacation Bible School. And then the following week, we will not have it because the week of the July 4th, there will be a lot of people on vacation.
Right.
So.
Well, that sounds like something good for the children of Bruce to do, is to come to the summer program. We appreciate that, Pam. And now we're going to talk a little bit about Vacation Bible School. Tell us when, where, and what time.
Okay. Believers Fellowship Church is sponsoring a Vacation Bible School. It's going to be June the 24th through the 28th. It's going to be from 9 a.m. till noon. And just everybody's invited. We're going to have Gospel Bill out for this also.
Okay, tell us a little bit about Gospel Bill. We were talking about him before we came on air, and I think we've had him here at Channel 7 before, but it's been a while. So tell us a little bit about him that you know of.
Okay, Gospel Bill, he is a cowboy, and he uses the Western theme to teach the boys and girls about God's Word. He's the sheriff of a little town called Dry Gulch, him and his friends there. And his friends is Nicodemus, Eugene, he's a puppet, and Chief Nawanasin, he's a little Indian puppet. And then there's Bartimaeus. Bartimaeus is about a 6-foot dog that helps them and relay the message of God's Word to the boys and girls. And he uses songs and puppet skits and just different exciting situations to get his message across.
Do you think this will come over more so than a lady just sitting down and trying to tell a story and teach the Word of God?
We believe so, because he's a child's attention span is 1 minute per age. So you got little 6, 7, 8-year-old, which their attention span is like 6, 7, and 8 minutes.
Right.
And he's constantly changing from one thing to another, and this keeps their attention, and he takes one Bible principle throughout the whole show and just teaches it, and it's simple that they can learn it.
Well, that is great. Is there any age limit set on Bible school?
Yes, it's from ages 4 through 12.
4 through 12. Okay, and you did tell us it was going to start June the 24th.
Yes, ma'am.
This will be every day?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
June the 24th through the 28th.
Okay, what else will you have beside Gospel Bill?
Okay, we'll have crafts to do. There's going to be a refreshment time. We'll also have activities. There'll be like color sheets and just different things like that to do.
Okay, you might now give us your phone number in case anyone would like to get in touch with you about Vacation Bible School.
Well, we have a number for you to call
Okay.
if the children want to come and their mothers and dads are working and cannot get there. If they need a ride, it's 983-7744.
Okay, and does that go for the summer program also?
Yes, ma'am, it sure does.
Okay, that's good. Well, is there anything else about the summer program or Vacation Bible School you ladies want to add?
Well, we just want to invite all children to come. We're really excited about what the children learn in these programs. And it's an exciting program, and the children really, really love Gospel Bill. He's such an exciting person, and we want to encourage them to come and enjoy him.
That's good.
And also the Vacation Bible School is open to all children of all denominations.
Okay, that's good then. We're going to try to get up and maybe get a little picture of Gospel Bill and just show them what he's all about in case they've never seen him. He is kind of funny. I've seen him. He even holds my expansion stand, so there you go, you know. It's not only for little ones. The big ones would like it too, won't they?
Right.
But we appreciate y'all coming down and talking to us about it, and we hope you'll keep these dates and times in mind and give us the phone number one more time.
983-7744.
7744. If you need any information on these two programs, you can call the church and let them know. This is Rita Paulin for Channel 7 News.
Soil erosion is Calhoun County's most serious conservation problem. Losses of topsoil in the county is costing farmers and landowners thousands of dollars per year in the value of topsoil alone. Economic losses also result from erosion of the county's fertile farmland in the form of reduced crop yields, higher production costs, and lower land values. Sediment from eroded soils carries the fertilizers and chemicals with it as it leaves the farm, pollutes our rivers, our streams, and our lakes. The Calhoun County Hot Field Day, a Whole Lot Topsoil Field Day, will be held August the 22nd. That's Thursday. It will begin at the Calhoun County Park. The field day will be a bus tour. The tour will leave from the county park at 8:30 a.m. sharp. We will make a tour of 6 different conservation stops. These stops will include forestry, orchard management, alfalfa, drip irrigation, pond management, fish pond construction, no-till soybeans, and sprinkler irrigation. Conservation awards will also be presented at the end of the tour. So again, I would like to remind you of the Hot Field Day, which will be held Thursday, August the 22nd, begin at the county park at 8:30. So come on out and join us for half a day on this good tour. We think we have an excellent tour. This has been a joint effort of all the agricultural agencies and groups in the county to provide this field day. I'm Joe Goforth, County Agent, Calhoun County. The worm pressure or insect pressure in milo is increasing almost daily. And through checking some milo today, I found quite a bit of increased number of worms. Also, I'm finding moths and worms that are laying eggs. These worms are in spots in the fields, we find them in large number. They are army worms and corn earworm. You probably find more of the army worms around the border of fields. Don't just go to one location in your field and see several worms in a head and go call the airplane pilot and tell him to spray your field, because this may not be economical. You need to go and check your field, check at least 10 heads together and count the number of worms, move to another place in the field and do this throughout your field till you count at least 100 or check at least 100 heads. If you find large worms, if you find an average of 1 per head, that's the economical threshold when you need to poison. Or if the worms are less than a ½ inch long, you can have as many as 2 per head. So in the fields that I have been in so far, I haven't found an average of 1 per head. However, we are finding a fairly large number of worms, and they're large worms, and probably a little more higher percentage of army worms than corn earworms. The corn earworm is the same thing as the bollworm in cotton. The material that you can use that's probably most effective would probably be lanthanate or nudin. This should be used at 1 pound of active material per acre. This will probably cost you in the neighborhood of $7 to $10 to get it flown on. So make sure that you have enough average of 1 large worm or 2 or more small worms per head before you spend this money. With the price of milo today, it's going to be hard to justify an application unless it's at the economical threshold. So if I can help you with your milo and your insect problem, just give me a call at the county agent's office. I might also remind you too that some of this late milo is just now blooming. Be on the lookout for midge. I also found some midge in some late blooming milo today. So with the midge, they do the damage before we know it. When we go to combining, the head will be very light, won't be much grain there, and this can be the result of the midge. So give me a call if I can be of help to you. I'm Joe Goforth, County Agent in Calhoun County. Grain sorghum harvest for Calhoun County farmers is just around the corner, or you might say it's already here for some farmers. In fact, some of the early April planted milo may be mature if moisture is between 25 and 30 or 30 and 35%. The head matures from the top to the bottom. So as grain matures, it loses its green color. As you see, it matures at the top and it matures down as it loses green color. Grain sorghum can be successfully combined at 20 to 25%. The drying cost at this moisture level is very high. If drying facilities are not available, another thing you can do is dry this down by spraying the milo with sodium chlorate. Sodium chlorate can be sprayed on sorghum that is this 20 to 25% moisture and dry it down. Applying the way to tell how to or when to spray the sodium chlorate is to check the seed and see that they all mature, because when the sodium chlorate is sprayed on the milo head, that's all of it. It's going to be done. So as I said, the milo matures from the head down, so pull a grain off the bottom of the head, and see if you can mash it between your thumbnail and your finger. And if you do, and if it's real soft inside or still doughy, the head is not mature enough to spray with sodium chlorate. Don't use anything else but sodium chlorate to spray. And don't think if you could spray and try to kill or control a lot of these cuckabirds we see in these fields. Sodium chlorate will not do an effective job. However, don't go out and get paraquat or something like that, because paraquat or other chemicals will leave a residue in the head or in the seed. And when you spray the sodium chlorate, make sure that the temperature is 85 to 90 degrees and the humidity is very low, from 60 to 65. And if the sun and the temperature stays like that in 5 or 6 days, you can go in and combine. But be sure not to spray or treat more acres than you can combine in approximately 2 days. So if it rains shortly after or the next day after you spray sodium chlorate and rains a day or two, it's going to take more than 5 or 6 days for it to dry down. But be sure to check the moisture and check the grain, see if they're all mature, and see if it's around 20 to 25% moisture before spraying your sodium chlorate. Grain is more easily and completely thrashed when grain moisture is around 16%, and for safe storage or at the elevator they want it around 13.5, or for home storage it needs to be around 12%. So if you have any questions about drying down your milo, or you need your moisture checked, I have a moisture tester in my office. Just come by or give me a call, and we'll give you some advice and some help in getting your milo. So you might want to be an advantage to dry it down and move it on out before all this goes to hitting the market. So I'm Joe Goforth, County Agent in Calhoun County.
OPA particularly. Hey Jay, are proud that to be a part of it, and we want you to know that in the loans that we make, that we fully support the soil and water conservation that SCS would like to see, and we hope that if we can be of help to any of you in any way, that you'll come by to see us.
Glad to have Dr. Lamar Kimbrough. Dr. Kimbrough is an agronomist at Mississippi State Extension Service. So this also like a blessing to the Joe Gregg farm. This is his alfalfa field. I believe it's his 3rd year. It's the only alfalfa field we have in Calhoun County, to my knowledge. And Joe's done real good with his alfalfa.
2020 type fertilizer, the old 1734, that type thing. It is unique in the fact that you need boron fertilizer with your mixed fertilizer. It takes about 5 tons. It's not uncommon to get 5 tons. Well,
Dr. Forster with the Mississippi Cooperative Extension Service, and this is Bob Piazza, I&E Forster with Mississippi Forestry Commission. And we're going to be talking to you this morning a little bit about forestry and loblolly pine trees and holding our topsoil. And when we speak of holding our topsoil, we like to specifically talk about using pine trees to do this. About 30 or 40% of all the erosion that occurs in Mississippi occurs on about 5% of the land. And this 5% of the land is the marginal crop land. And so if we can control the erosion on this 5% of the acreage, we can control about 30 or 40% of the erosion. And we think the best way to do this is with the loblolly pine trees. And for several reasons. The first reason is that it does such a good job of controlling erosion. They do this because after 8 or 10 years, one pine tree will drop about 15 pounds of pine needles. This is, we've got 3 new industries that's moved into this area. And you're all aware, I'm sure, of Weyerhaeuser up at Bruce, which is a good market. But we also have Georgia Pacific that put in a new mill at Grenada. There's some, is that a chainsaw?
Chainsaw going there.
We have Louisiana Pacific that put in a new mill at Grenada. An International Paper Company put in a new wood yard at Grenada. And all these are about 30 to 35 miles away. So you've got, in this area now, 4 or 5 good markets for pine timber, which means it makes it even more profitable. Now, I'd like to ask the question first. How do you, if you know, don't answer. But if you don't know, just, if you know from somebody told you, don't answer. But how old do you think this stand of trees is? How old do you think these trees are?
How old, Bill? I say about 15.
15? Any other guesses?
I say 10.
10 years. Well, give this man a prize. He's 10 years old.
Must be a farm.
Calhoun County ASCS office. I am not Joel Williams, who is the VOAG teacher in Bartman High School. He's tied up in staff service or something connected to the school system, and he could not make this tour. So I want to welcome you on behalf of the Bartman community, the farmers in the Bartman community, to this site. I think this is going to be a very interesting part of the tour. And also, we would like to express our most sincere thanks to the Baileys, namely Mr. Henry and his 2 sons, and we're on the Wayne Bailey farm here for stop number 3. And then when we go back to stop number 4, that's going to be on the other son, Danny Bailey's farm. At this time, for remarks,
Manage a drip irrigation on any fruit tree. One, it enables you to use a limited amount of water over a large acres, about 1.5 gallons to 2 gallons per minute per acre for a drip system on trees like this, where if you were looking at soybeans or cotton, you'd be looking at 4.5 to 5. So you can use about half the water
within a 20-mile radius of Pontotoc, or the experiment station. About 120 acres, and it is increasing, so I think you can see some potential as an alternate crop. We're looking for crops. We're looking for crops that will make us a little money to help supplement the crops that we now have. And a crop.
And they're also interested in other uses of the farm. And Mr. Pierce will talk about that when he gets into his part. So Carolyn McPhail with ASCS is going to talk about cost sharing. Peter Pierce from the Soil Conservation Service will talk about the pipes and building the pond. And Mike Hinton, the biologist with ASCS, will talk about pond management. So who's first?
It's full of water flowing. And he has a little T-valve on the back, or a faucet, that he can open up in case if he did want to use it for to irrigate some type of crop. And he has enough water here, I'd say, to accommodate probably 10 acres of corn. I'll just base it on corn. I don't know what I have to say, unless with any questions that anyone would like to ask about this type.
Why are you putting your drain pipe on the back side? Won't you get some erosion when that comes out?
Well,
around it?
You will. He's going to, he'll have a concrete slab poured out.
Water level, you might need to completely drain a pond during some time for managing the fish. So it's important to have a method to be able to do that. And I think the first thing is we're going to discuss is irrigation. Of course, Jim Thomas, ag engineer from Mississippi State irrigation specialist, is going to cover this. Clyde introduced him a while ago, so he don't.
Mr. Smith put this system in this spring. We worked with him last year through the summer, and we were up there 2 or 3 different times trying to decide about what he needed and what he could get as far as the water supply, and he's using the water supply from the ditch up there and pumping it down to another ditch and delivers it by gravity or through open ditches to several locations in his field. This gun runs at about 500 gallons a minute, which is about enough water for 100 acres. Shapes, he's cut by the railroad tracks, so he couldn't get a pivot in. He can't cross the tracks with a center pivot, so it limited him either to water on the north side or the south side.
I think our biggest problem now is trying to build a dam in the creek and hole. That's
being production. Just as everything, there's positive and negative things you can say about it. I listed a few of the positive things that we may say about soybean production.
They're going to have to apologize and take a little bit longer than we had planned, but I think it's all been worth it. To wrap this thing up, I want to introduce L.H. Johnson, one of our better farmers here in the county. L.H. also a Soil Conservation Service Commissioner, and he hosted the Hot Field Day last year, so I'm going to turn it over to L.H. Johnson.
I'd like to say that I've enjoyed this tour much better than I did the one last year.